Hi, thanks for watching. My name is Jules Forrister and I am a yoga instructor and meditation guide here at the TownLake YMCA. This has been one of my favorite places to teach for a long time because of the community. I miss you all so much. I hope you're staying safe, washing your hands, and doing what you can to nurture yourself. That's what this time is kind of boiling down to. And it's funny how yoga talks about this exact sort of thing in the very first of the sutras that it suggests for our lifestyle. It says that ahimsa, meaning non-harming, is how we shall attain the greatest good for ourselves and everyone else around us. And it relies on this idea that we're all born of the same spark of life, and thus to be in harmony with yourself is to be in harmony with others. We're totally in that space right now where self-isolation is done in spirit of the greater good. Now, it may not necessarily feel like it's the greatest good for you, but I encourage you to take this time to really tune inward and notice what drawing energy into the self does. They say that we can only meet others so far as we've met ourselves. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dial into these really small, subtle movements that bring us more connection to our sensation and our sense of self. A lot of times when we're in gyms or in yoga studios, we want to do the most crazy, beautiful postures. And that's fun too. And at the same time, there's a sense of, there's a sort of magic that happens when we can feel deeply. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start laying down in a comfortable position. You don't need a yoga mat. You could even do this in bed. This is where I do most of my fascial work before I get out of bed. As you lay down, you might find that there are a couple ways that you want to lay down. If you have pelvis or low back pain, keeping the knees bent can be a little bit better for that. But if it's all right to you to take the legs long, you might do that. Now, if your legs are long, you're going to want to point your second toes up to the sky until the hip points are neutral. The inner thighs roll down just slightly. As you rearrange the spine, getting nice and long, you're going to interlace your hands at the nape of your neck or right beneath the head. Spreading the elbows wide, take a deep belly breath in. Full open mouth exhale. Adding a sigh lets the nervous system know it's okay to relax, it's okay to drop in. You might have a couple of those. More slowly, starting to inhale a little longer and exhale a little fuller. And taking your time using your unique breath pattern, find a deep breath in to reach the back of your neck long. Keeping that length, exhale and lift the head using little to no support from the hands. Let the neck be strong, the elbows stay wide. Now, like you have feet on the back of your shoulder blades, walk one shoulder blade, then the other towards the back edge of your space. Just a little bit here, tractioning length in the spine. Once you have that length, allow the back of the head to relax towards the ground. If it feels comfortable to keep your hands as they are, you might do that. If you have shoulder injuries, then it might feel more comfortable to have the fingertips touch the tops of the shoulders or the hands. Come towards goalpost arms. That might be fine for you too, whichever one works a little better. We're going to start with the feet here. Taking a deep breath in, flex the toes towards the shins, spread them nice and wide, almost like you were reaching the pinky toe and the big toe a little further from one another. And as you exhale, engage through your quads, keeping a micro bend in the knees. This part's important, especially for very flexible folks. Steady inhale. Exhale, reach through your right heel, like your right leg could get a little longer. When you breathe in, come back through center, both legs, both femur bones drawing up to the hips. Exhale, reach with the left heel, just a little bit longer there. The left side waist might grow longer as well. Draw the navel towards the spine gently. Inhale back to neutral. And we'll exhale to alternate right leg. Inhale center. Exhale, left leg will move. Taking your time, breaths in to come to neutral. Breaths out to reach through the heels. And a few cycles of breath will guide you through this. Now as you're doing this, it may be tempting to point through the toes to feel the reach through the ball mound of the foot. You may notice this gives you a stretch along the front of the shin. That's all right too if you wish for that. We get a little bit more of a stretch along the fascia, the back line, by keeping the toes towards the shins. So whichever one feels more comfortable to you, I encourage you to try on different ways to breathe and move. Seeing what feels better in your body. Everyone's body is a little different depending on where we might be storing tension. So tuning in, let the inhale bring you back to your center. And the exhale help you to release some tension with the release of your breath. The two go hand in hand. And as you're ready, we'll slowly come back to center and take the feet to the mat if they weren't there already. Feet at about the same distance, whether they were reaching from the heels. Return back to having your soles of your feet down on the mat, feet about hip-width distance apart. And as you go ahead and take your hands down by your side body, see if the palms can face upwards. If they can, this opens the chest a little more. If not, palms face down is fine. Draw the shoulder blades underneath you to lift the heart. And we'll do the same movement with our arms, taking a deep breath in. A full breath out, let the back body soften down to the support of what holds you. Releasing and relaxing. Deep inhale to prepare. Exhale to reach the right arm a little bit longer. Keep the back of the head grounded. Keep the shoulders soft. As you inhale, come back to neutral. When you exhale, left fingertips will reach. Inhale brings you back to center. Exhale reaches one hand at a time. These movements are small and subtle. You don't have to reach to as far as you possibly can. In fact, that gets into the level of our muscles a little more. We want to stay in the level of the connective tissue, moving nice and easy and sending breath to areas that feel a little bit challenged. You'll notice that my hands, my arms, they don't really leave the ground. We're not using a ton of strength here. Instead, we're tuning into the fine motor skills and the subtleties of the movement. Where does sensation come into your field of awareness? How does breath meet that sensation? Does breath continue to flow easily, effortlessly? Or are there places where it feels a little sticky, a little stuck or choppy? And in those places that might feel a little choppy, pause, stay only in the spot where breath feels comfortable flowing. That might mean that you don't go too far. That might mean it's just this, little tiny movements. Take a couple more breath cycles. And slowly returning back to neutral. Widen your feet out towards mat width distance apart. Bringing your arms to your sides, to a goalpost, to a T, whatever feels good, and it allows you to broaden through your chest. Find a deep, rich breath in. A full exhale to let the legs shift over to the left only so far as the right shoulder stays grounded. Now, if you feel pulling on your knees, that's feedback, small, subtle feedback. Do not let the legs dip so far. Use your breath in to come back to center. Use your breath out to let the legs shift over towards your right. Once again, it's not about letting the legs come all the way down to the ground, especially if you're really mobile. Can you feel the engagement of the core, the activation of the legs? Inhaling to center. And exhaling to slowly shift over towards the left or the right. Now I know you can all shift left and right, but instead of letting momentum do the work, can you resist gravity and keep the core nice and strong so that the lower body is what's moving. The shoulders stay really steady, really anchored. One more time, either direction. And you come back up to center. Pause. If the legs feel comfortable as they are, let them be. If you'd like to work to constructive rest, the knees can knock inwards. Or if it's better for your knees to have the feet at hip-width distance apart, options are there for you. Find a place where the pelvis feels good. And then as you inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Catch a hold of opposite elbows like you're creating a box in front of your chest. Now draw your arm bones back into the shoulder girdle until you feel your shoulder bones connect. And draw down away from the ears, creating length through the neck. Keep your shoulders as they are here. Take a deep breath in. Use your exhale to move the arms over towards the right, only so far as the left shoulder stays rooted. So this isn't a huge movement. I could go further, but the left shoulder lifts to do it. Find a path where you're grounded or your breath is with you, and inhale through your center line. Exhale to take your arms over towards the left, only so far as the right shoulder stays stable. As you inhale, come back to center. And exhale over other side. And take this a few times, your breath, your movement. Inhaling through center. Exhaling to rotate. At some point in time, you may notice that one elbow likes to be closer to the chest. And switch, finding the non-dominant elbow, continuing the movement. As we work into the shoulders, ask your jaw, your tongue, your teeth, if there is an unnecessary constriction. And see if your breath can soften that with exhales. They can be traditional exhales, open mouth exhales, or my favorite. With the arms moving right, so come back to center with the inhale. Take them left once more on your exhale. And then integrating that movement, lift back up through center. Take your feet back to being wide, mat width distance if they're not already. Full breath in. Exhale, legs go left, arms go right, shoulders stay grounded. If it feels good on your neck, you can send your left ear towards the left. Same direction, gaze as the legs move. Inhale, recenters. Exhale, shifts other direction. Inhale, center. Exhale, shift. Your breath to your movement, taking your time. If you're balanced, come back to center, release your arms, wiggle out through the shoulders. We'll go ahead and take this one more layer deep. You can let the legs stay in constructive rest if that feels good. Come back to hip width distance if that feels good. And adjust your pelvis in a way that your low back feels comfortable. As you bring your hands once more to where we began with the arms interlaced, or hands interlaced, or fingertips towards the shoulders, fingertips to a goalpost. This is once again a small, subtle movement. The head will stay grounded the whole time. Find a deep, rich breath in. A longer exhale, letting the back body soften. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to reach the right elbow tip back. Feeling length along the right sideways between hip and rib cage. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out, send the left elbow tip back. Lengthening through the sideways, draw the bottom ribs towards one another. Breathe in to come back to center. Exhale to rotate to the right, to the left, finding your side bend on the exhale. Inhales, grow the body long. Exhales to reach. Notice once again if tension is in the jaw, the throat, the face. Sigh it out with the exhales. Feel the breath in, lift the upper body buoyant and light to the sky. The exhales, release and relax the trunk, the abdomen. Come on back through center after you've had a few times, either direction, and conclude with your left elbow reaching long once more. We're going to integrate things that we've already done with the legs. You can stay with the knees bent and the toes reaching, or you can have the legs long, reaching through the heel in that way. Whichever way feels a little better to you. Just feel the spread of the toes. Almost like you had a platform, whether that is the ground beneath you if you have your knees bent, or the soles of your feet pushing out if your legs are long into that imaginary platform. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, reach the right side a little longer. Right heel extends, right elbow reaches back. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to reach the left elbow, left heel long. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach. This can sometimes be helpful with a blanket instead of the mat on the ground. So you'll notice the blanket slides a little more freely than a mat. That feels good to you. Take a couple more breaths, cycles. Conclude with your left side reaching long. Your inhale bringing you back through to center. Bring your arms down by your sides. Sway, shimmy. And slowly start to draw the knees up and in towards the chest. You can catch the undersides of them or the shins, whichever feels good. This can happen with the knees coming in as much as keeps the low back grounded, or as little as keeps the low back grounded. Now to just say hello to the low back, take a deep breath in. And exhale, draw the knees in towards the chest. Notice the subtleties of the sensation. You don't have to go super far to get this stretch. Less is more sometimes. Inhale to take the knees out only so far as the legs are long. This keeps the pelvis in neutral. Inhale. Exhale, draw the knees in towards the chest. We'll take a couple breaths like this. Your breath in, reaching out. Your breath out, drawing in, rounding and curving the low back slightly. Conclude this fascial work with just one more stretch to the hips, finding supine pigeon or Sukhirudhrasana. Stack your right ankle upon your left knee. Bring your toes back towards your shins, just like you were pushing into that imaginary platform, and notice what it's like to stay right here, nice and easy, nice and grounded. The stretch may be subtle. If it feels good to you, you might walk your left foot in a little closer, or maybe even pick up the left foot and draw the knee in towards the chest. If it's comfortable and your shoulders can stay grounded, maybe you reach through the triangle of your legs and catch a hold of your left hamstring or shin. More important than catching a hold of the leg is keeping the natural curvatures of your spine while opening the hip. As you activate through the toes of your right foot, for additional stretch, you can take the right knee away from the chest Ask your body where breath continues to move, as that's where we're going to be able to release tension stored in the fascia and the deeper tissue of the muscles with the breaths out. If it doesn't feel easy, back up. There are a lot of layers, and the most important part of yoga is our breath. It precedes a lot of the postures that we know and love today in yoga that mostly come from European gymnastics, which are great too. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, bring your arms to a T or goalpost. Use the exhale to let the legs shift over towards the right. You might want to keep this variation, or you might find it's more comfortable to stack the thighs. Now, if the shoulder blades stay grounded just as we did before, you're going to feel a deeper stretch, likely, along the outer hip. If you let the knees be the point of grounding, the shoulder lift, then you may instead feel a deeper stretch along the upper body. No right or wrong, everyone's fascia is a little different. It just depends on how you move through your life. Take your time breathing, another cycle or so. And then as you inhale, come on back to center. We'll do the same thing other side. The right foot stays rooted. The left ankle crosses over top of the right knee with the toes flexed and spreading wide through the pinky toe and big toe. This may be exactly where you want to stay, or you might want to walk the right foot up and in. You might want to lift the right knee. Notice the distance between either side waist. If you notice that you've crunched on one side, go ahead and lengthen out so that both sides of the pelvis support the body equally. Perhaps you continue with your shoulder blades grounded, or perhaps the shoulder blades can stay rooted while you reach through the triangle of your legs to catch a hold of your hamstrings or shins. Either way, feel the breath in. Reach the crown of the head and the tailbone to opposite directions. And the breaths out, soften any tension that you might be experiencing, or move towards sensation by taking the left knee away from the trunk, your call. If you've lifted your right leg, slowly lower it back down to the ground. Bring your arms to a T or goalpost. Find a rich breath in to lengthen the spine. And a complete exhale to let the leg shift this time over towards your right. The left knee can lift towards the sky if you're staying in figure 4 to open along the front of the psoas, the front of the hip. If you'd rather cross the thighs, or rather stack the thighs, that's a great option as well. For a deeper stretch to the neck, just like when you were doing the rotations before, you can gaze over your left shoulder, feeling a bit more through the right ear, right underarm, right shoulder. From the strength of your core, come back through to center. Feel free to take your legs long. A pillow or blanket underneath the knees can support you in Shavasana if that's kind to the body. And as you rest for just a few moments in the stillness of the body, notice what your breath feels like. You might find a few more deep breaths in through the nose. Perhaps open mouth exhales. And then if you can, release breath control and simply observe the subtle sensations of the body. Our fascia is always working to help us move about our day-to-day life. Sometimes in productive ways, sometimes it works unnecessarily. So check out your jaw, tongue, and teeth. If there isn't space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth, allow there to be. If there isn't space between the top and bottom row of teeth, allow there to be. Notice sensations of the ears, temples, cheekbones, eyes and eyebrows, creating a little softness in the space between the eyebrows. Sensation, the crown of the head, back of the head and neck, Sensing into the shoulders, any small movements that could make them 5 or 10% more comfortable. Sensing into the arms, all the way down to the palms and the hands, ripe with sensation. Be aware of sensation in chest and upper back. Belly and lower back. Sensation through the pelvis, hips, thighs, knees, lower legs, feet and toes. And then sensing the entire body as one interconnected web. Feel the upper body, feel the lower body. Sense your front body and the way skin feels with air or clothes upon it. Sense into your back body and the support of what holds you. Letting each exhale, you'll do a little deeper into that. If you've got the gift of time to stay and just sense into the body, it's going to provide us with so many messages, guiding us to our most authentic grounded being. Places where we could adjust to be a little more comfortable, places where we could let go of. But if you're returning back to the rest of your day, you might wiggle your fingertips and your toes, bringing the areas of our body that contain the most muscles and bones, most fascial connections online. May feel good to take a long body stretch or to curl into a little ball. Either one is great. When you're ready to roll onto your favorite side, allow your bottom arm to cradle your head and neck. Your top arm pushes you up to a comfortable place. Thank you for taking the time to breathe and to tune in with me. It's been an honor and privilege to guide you through the last little bit. Stay safe, wash your hands, and be well.